Yo, Trevor, you know what day it is?
Yes, sir. It's Tuesday, Jay.
Well, hey, man, you know what that means?
I believe that means it's time for Tuesdays with Trevor.
Well, hit the music because it's time to get rolling, baby. Let's go.
All right, let's go. Hello, and welcome to Tuesdays with Trevor, a show dedicated to using sports to create positive change. Be ready to get inspired, uplifted, and empowered through thought-provoking conversations specific to the world of youth sports with some of the top minds in the game. I'm your co-host, Trevor Rosenthal, MLB All-Star and single-season save record holder for the St. Louis Cardinals, along with Jason Holzer, co-founder of 4D Athletes and best-selling author. Jason, how are we doing today?
Well, man, you know, anytime we have a great guest on the show, it's a great day. So today we have a great guest. And first of all, I want to know, how are things with you going, Trevor? I know you're rehabbing, you're getting ready to get back in the show, right? So how are you progressing along?
Man, I'm feeling really good. I mean, this time of year always gets the juices flowing a little bit. You know, headed out of spring training, the regular season is starting, the weather is getting nicer, the days are longer, starting to feel like summertime, which means sports and baseball, right? But even farther than that, you know, as I'm growing as an adult, as a parent of 3 young athletes, which is kind of mind-blowing and scary at times, but it's one of the greatest opportunities that I have in my life to influence my children, not only make myself better, but hopefully the decisions I'm making will rub off on them and they'll be thankful for all of the work that my wife and I do to pour into them. So I think that ties in really well with our guest today and the conversation that we're going to have, and this idea of, you know, these children, they're moldable, that we have time to influence them. And I think being cognizant of that and realizing time to implement these strategies is important. So for our listeners today, we're going to bring you a great conversation and really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and our shout out today goes to Raise Health Innovations. Raise Health Innovations is revolutionizing how we approach mental health by enabling organizations to proactively detect and prevent major mental health crises. Raise is empowering organizations to make lasting impact, saving lives, and reduce unnecessary costs by improving well-being worldwide. Well, you know, speaking of our guest today, she has no lack of experience with raising kids in sports and being a kid in sports and participating in itself. So Karen Phelps Moyer has pretty much lived sports since she was born, but she's also has over 25 years experience of helping kids and families cope with grief, addiction, and mental health challenges. She's the founder of Golden Minds, which provides mental health resources for college athletes at St. Mary's, Holy Cross, and Notre Dame. Like I said, she's a mom of 8, so she's literally probably seen almost anything you could imagine. So, Karen, good morning. Thanks for joining us today. How are we doing today?
Oh, I'm fantastic. I love listening to you guys, Trevor. I know your gig and what you're going through, so I'm wishing you all the best. Had to giggle a little bit when you said, I hope the kids appreciate what we're doing for them. Not sure the level of when that all kicks in. I'll let you guys know. Because we do a lot for our kids, but we wouldn't have it any other way. So I'm always excited to talk about sports. It has been my life. I probably have done a lot of things wrong, and I learned from that experience, so I don't mind sharing.
Especially as a mom, right? Moms, I'm noticing, tend to get the short end of the stick when it comes to sacrifice and giving up your own needs and wants for the benefit of others. But we all, myself included, could not have survived without the loving care of my mom.
Well, our moms for sure, but also at you guys and being married. The one thing that I can share to you, and I do to others, is that the greatest gift you can give your kids is to lift up their mom in front of them, and in front of her, because that will carry them for life. Otherwise, you know, there can be issues. So lift up those moms. We do a lot, and always show gratitude.
Well, Karen, that's a great way to segue into our first question here. You know, as a mom of multiple college athletes, you know, and being an athlete yourself, what are some of the best ways that you've been able to support your children through their sports journeys, and some of the different ways that they've gone even after their sports journeys have been over?
Yeah, so the 6 biological kids are all athletes. Catalina, number 7, is playing some sports, and Yennefer has other challenges. She's played sports, but that's not her thing. So with the first 6, they have all played college sports. They've all played multiple sports. The boys did a little bit of professional ball, and they come from a pedigree of good athletes. The parents are good athletes. And so always being around sports and raising kids in sports, what are the best ways to support them? As I mentioned, I'm sure that I did a lot of things wrong, but I'm sure that I did a lot of things right, and that's the consistency. And there's lots of lessons that I'd like to share today as we chat a little bit. My kids' journey, they're good athletes, but there's always different circumstances. It can be their teammates, it can be the coaches, it can be the environment. We left Seattle for a while because it rained all the time, so the boys could play baseball outside. So my greatest recommendation in everything that we do as a parent is be the parent. We all have different roles. So there's the role of the coach, let the coach be the coach. The manager, the team mom, whatever those roles are, this allows you to be the parent. I absolutely encourage your kids to play multiple sports. They're always scouting, recruiting the better athletes. And so to avoid burnout and other things that happen if you're just focused on one sport, definitely encourage your kids to play multiple sports. Just create that safe space for them to share. And this takes a long time. I came from the Digger Phelps era. Are you kidding me? So then, imagine being tough or get home kind of attitude. And now we're at the place where we're meeting our kids where they are with their emotions. But there's a fine line in that too. And I remind my kids it is my role to push you and love you, but also push you. But create that safe space, and what you learn is to become a really good listener. You might have to bite your tongue a little bit, but be that good listener for them. Validate to them, appreciate them in sharing with you, because then you're creating that space, because there's a lot that goes on in life, and I can share more about that with my kids. And then the other thing is to build a village. So have a relationship with their coaches, have a relationship with their teachers. Sometimes they listen to them better than they listen to us. And so build that village of good, safe people around them, and it should be a good, pleasant experience, best that it can.
Yeah, I think this is something that I've noticed. So I have 3 daughters. My oldest is 10 years old. She's a high-level gymnast. She loves gymnastics, and she does well. She's way more competitive than I could have ever imagined that a 10-year-old would be. But that's what I've noticed with my wife. My wife has a better pulse on things than what I do. I think that's a gift that moms are given, and dads, we're constantly trying to learn and figure things out, right, with all things in life. But she does that, and it's something that I've seen, and I've seen them develop this relationship, and it's been really fun to watch. And that balance of, like you said, that balance of holding them accountable, making sure that they're doing the best and getting the most out of their practice and their play, but at the same time being loving and caring. And maybe you could talk about that now. I mean, this is something also that I've seen that I didn't realize existed, especially because I've been a professional athlete for so long now, is I know that there's a lot of pressure that comes along with being a professional athlete. Like I need to go out and perform, otherwise I might lose my job. Like there's some serious implications. But this has definitely trickled down, and I've seen it in kids for whatever reason. And my daughter, for one, and then also her teammates and friends too, and their kids. And kids feel more pressure than ever to perform. But maybe you could talk about how can parents create that positive home environment within youth sports where kids feel more relaxed and confident.
Well, let me touch on something real quick. My number 6 was a gymnast and got to the level of where she could do it for college. And she was stuck. She was stuck mentally in some of the things, the tricks that they need to do and accomplish. She went on to be a pole vaulter. And that isn't much different, truthfully, on the mental side of it. Imagine the pole and you're upside down. And a lot of gymnasts do that, or they go into diving. And they have tricks. There's lots of things that are out there for mental wellness support and mental fitness support that I would strongly encourage that you guys probably talk about. But there's podcasts, there's coaches, there's other resources that you can provide, because you can't be that for them when they hit that as an athlete, when you're the parent. The part about pressure for you, for sure, you're putting food on the table. We always said when Jamie was going to the ballpark that he was going to work. You know, there's a difference. It may have been what he loved to do since he was little, but he was going to work. And so that is pressure, absolutely. And it's how you deal with that. But if you're taught at a young age in your home environment with your youth sports, it will be a different experience. And so look at somebody like Caitlin Clark right now. I mean, I could watch her all day. Why? Because her extreme confidence. And I've been watching athletes my whole life. Her confidence is incredible. She has a family that's supportive. She's obviously had coaches. She's kind of homegrown, growing up in Iowa, playing in Iowa, so she's had a safe place to be. But she is bursting with confidence, and I want every girl watching her and watching her confidence. And she knows when to be a little cocky and knows her place. But her confidence is in everything that she does. I imagine that her parents' involvement, and that's where we come in. The parents' involvement is really important. It's proven that if parents are involved, kids get better grades, they have a better social life, they stay out of trouble, they have more self-confidence. So, a couple things. Teach your kids winning isn't everything. Teach your kids to be good losers, actually. And most of all, teach them to have fun. This is all about having fun. If you're not having fun, then you shouldn't be doing it. I think it's that I'm all about March Madness right now, but the North Carolina State player who said, if I'm not having fun, I'm not going to do it. And so it's just a great message. Always emphasize the positives. There may be negatives. You may be seeing negatives. Don't share them. Only give the positives. And then how can you help your kids through struggles? Because we have struggles, and this is why I love sports. Because everybody that plays sports learns how to deal with struggles in life. So if you have a struggle, how do you gauge that struggle? How do you help them make a plan to improve and get through that struggle? So you can be that person that, you can push them through pressure, but you can always build a positive environment that will give them confidence, that will help them feel relaxed. Be that good listener, and again, have that village around you.
And we'll be back in 20 seconds to continue the conversation, but first a quick word from 4D Athletes. Looking to use sports to build exceptional leaders ready for any season of life? If you're a coach or parent, check out 4dathletes.com, where they have online resources for parents and coaches that will teach the life skills necessary to become the best version of themselves. Regardless if you're a parent, coach, or athlete, check out 4dathletes.com. That's 4D athletes.com, and we'll be sure to sign up for the Mamba Mentality ebook when you visit the website. Now, back to the show. Karen, you are a advocate for mental health. You have been for as long as I've known you, over the last almost 4 years now. That's kind of crazy to think about. But you talked about Caitlin Clark's, her confidence and her resilience, right? So what can coaches do to help foster that environment where, hey, mistakes are okay, it's part of the learning process, it's getting back up, it's believing in yourself. You were around a phenomenal, legendary coach as a dad for a long time. Do you have some tips or tricks that coaches could use to help build that confidence and resilience in players?
The one thing Digger taught his own kids and his 53 players and in 20 years and all of his assistant coaches, we would all say the same thing, and that is to not assume, to follow up, and to always have a backup. And so what does that mean? You're in a situation, never assume anything about that situation. And you always want to follow up on things because stuff falls through the cracks. No matter what you're doing on life, always follow up. And then things do go wrong, so always have a backup. Definitely in sports we learn, right, Trevor, plan B. We're the queens and kings of plan B all the time, because nothing is guaranteed. I think when we're talking about resilience, there's the 7 C's that they talk about, right? So there's confidence, connection, character, contribution, coping, and control. And so when you're breaking down those things, you can see how through the experience, those things can help you build resilience. Again, it goes back to problem solving. And what's the problem and how do you overcome the problem? And so if we're looking at an athlete and you see their personal assets and you're really focusing on those and lifting those up, that's going to help them with their confidence. And so the one thing that I want to caution people on is that there's always something else going on. We need to learn that in life. Everybody's got a story. Everybody's had something happen. And so if you're coaching kids, there might be stuff going on at home. And it's your job to know that, to figure that out, and to be that person for that kid. It's not about winning all the time. Sports is a wonderful part of life and can be wonderful. But if we're building, how to be confident, how to have confidence, how to connect with each other, taking on what characteristics that they have, teaching them how to contribute on and off the field, teaching them how to cope, and then they're in control of everything, you're building resilience and confidence.
Yeah, that's Karen Moyer-Phelps joining us today. This has been such a fun conversation, and I'm learning so much. I think this is what 40 Athletes, this is what Tuesdays with Trevor is all about, like having a conversation that is maybe a little bit against what you might hear in the mainstream when you're sitting in the bleachers and you're talking with other parents. I think a common perspective that people share is, especially in today's day and age, is, think or say what you think or say how you feel. Like you gotta, no filter, just let it out. And you said something that I thought was very powerful in regards to that of, not biting your tongue, but being cognizant of, what's positive, what's negative, making sure that I'm contributing the positive and pouring out the positive, especially as a parent. I mean, coaches have a little bit of a different perspective, right? Like you got to let them know when they're doing something wrong. But I think it's a powerful tool of just being more intentional and not letting all of these things just pour out. You never know, like you said, you never know what somebody's going through, and to be just reckless with your thoughts and words and actions is irresponsible, I think, as a parent. And so this conversation has been very beneficial. But on that topic, I mean, what are some ways that you've learned, or maybe you can talk about what this I'm sure you weren't born with this knowledge, right? Like you gained it through experience over time. Maybe you can talk about that, maybe how you've come to develop this technique, or how parents can support and uplift their kids through adversity in life and sports.
Yes, there's a lot there, and there's a lot in our conversation. And when I saw the questions, I took it seriously, because it is a lot of reflection. I'm a 58-year-old woman still parenting. As a mom of 8, had a life in Major League Baseball. We did that very well. We had a marriage that fell apart. I have grandchildren now. I hope to have lots more grandchildren. And so in life we change, and it is a journey, and we learn from that. And how can we share? How can we show our own vulnerability to others so that they can learn from us? And that's what I do in everything that I do right now. I'm a life coach, and I am, as Jason mentioned, working with him and many other amazing people, supporting student athletes in their mental health and fitness. This is a crisis and something that we have to do better. And how do we do that? I think COVID had a profound effect. I know my 2 sophomore college athletes, it affected them. We needed to get them to a boarding school so that they could do their sports as juniors and seniors in high school because California was in such a lockdown. And now my son, who was at a D1 school playing baseball, there aren't many scholarships because of COVID. These kids are getting extra years, and those roster spots are taken. And so you have to adjust and move things around for you and where you are. Athletes need adversity like they need weightlifting, like they need mental fitness. And so trying to avoid adversity is not a good idea. You have to face it and deal with it. Parents, you need to be good role models. They see how you deal with adversity, and that's how they are going to deal with adversity. I am sure my kids have seen me deal with so much in life, and I am positive that has helped them deal with other things in life, whether it's sports or not. As a parent, you can provide emotional support, and so when they're going through adversity, you can be that emotional connection. A little bit harder with 3 girls there, Trevor, so good luck with that. I have 5. But mom will have a big role in that as well. The other thing, never be a quitter. If your kids are going to sign up for something, and look, some of this stuff is expensive. If you can't afford it, don't do it. You don't have to, take out a mortgage to put your kid through club baseball because you think he might or she might, become that pro. If you can't afford it, don't do it. And also, if you sign up for it, you can't quit. You got to play it out to the end. That will teach them good lessons in life. How to become a good loser. Let's see, other things. We talk about the coaching. This is hard for me because I am Digger's daughter. It was a different world. I've watched a lot of coaching. I got frustrated with some things, and then I created my own. Like with my oldest, I created a baseball league in Seattle that we managed for 8 years because we wanted to do it our way. So there's that way of doing things. Don't criticize the coach in front of the kids, but there are those times when you should validate if a coach is wrong, because they will feel better about themselves. A lot of things happen on the field that we don't know about, and there's a lot of that in sports, unfortunately, and coaches are getting away with things that they shouldn't be. So we can empower our kids to be leaders in that way. You want to teach your kids to be a good teammate, and you want to teach them to have good sportsmanship, and that will carry them long, long, long in life. And those kids who are the leaders that become the captains, you kind of see that innately in them as a kid, a little kid, and you can enhance that in them. So it's the best time of your life being with your kids in youth sports. It's complicated. The cell phones aren't helping. Social media is not really helping. But there are positive twists on everything. And so having a conversation like we are now, leaving little nuggets of experience and wisdom definitely can help. And I think it can be a wonderful experience, memories for a lifetime.
Well, Karen, I appreciate you joining us today. And I'm always reminded of the quote of parents don't do what you say, or kids don't do what you say, they do what you do as parents. So like you mentioned, being that example of what does it look like to be resilient? What does it look like to handle adversity? I think, like you said, being the example of that is one of the best things we can do as parents. So, Karen, where can people connect with you? How can they learn more about what you're doing with Golden Minds, eLuna? You are now a Jay Shetty certified life coach as well. What's the best way to connect with Karen?
Yeah, I'm kind of all over the place, but I've taken life's journey to build who I am. My why and my how and my what. So eLuna is my foundation. That's elunanetwork.org. Grief, addiction, suicide prevention, kids, camps, communities, family. Find us there. goldenminds.world is the work that we're doing for student athletes and supporting their mental fitness. And then Good Morning Gorgeous is where I'm a life coach. goodmorninggorgeous.com. I love all the things that I do. And I appreciate you guys. I wish you all the best and continued success in all that you're doing and spreading the word.
Sounds good. Thank you. Well, Trevor, great show as always, and I'm excited to share that some of our guests coming up, just like Karen, have just a wealth of knowledge that we're going to be bringing on in a couple months here as we get this show rolling. But Trevor, I want to let you know, make sure you follow him on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn as well. You get his LinkedIn following up. He's got to get his professional side up now, as well as he's got a couple more years left, but that professional side is going to be key for him as well. So make sure you give him a follow on LinkedIn too, and make sure you share the show on with a coach or parent in youth sports. I can definitely hear what we have to say.
Yes, and I see you have your Notre Dame sweatshirt on. It's to our guest Karen Phelps Moyer. So awesome, great conversation. Making the University of Notre Dame very proud with the work that you're doing, and it's an inspiration to hear how you are living out your life to make change, not only to develop yourself, but to help others along the way. And that's ultimately what this life is all about. So happy to come alongside you today. This is a great conversation. Everybody be sure to check out 40athletes.com. Check out our resources for parents, coaches, and athletes. Remember to follow 40 Athletes and Jason on social media as well. We have a lot of dynamic content coming your way that we are so excited about. We keep getting better every single week. And if there's anything that we can help with, resources with some of our guests that we can connect you with, or maybe a certain topic that you would like us to talk about on the show, please reach out to us. We'd love to continue to build this community and create the next generation of rock stars. I know I'm excited about that. I have my hands full with 3 daughters, as Karen mentioned, but thanks to the village mentality and bringing in excellent people like Jason and Karen today, I'm more confident that I'll be able to tackle that mountain not alone. So,
well, hey, that's a wrap on this episode. And if you like the episode, give it 5 stars, leave it a review. Thanks for tuning in to Tuesdays with Trevor, and we will see you next time.
Awesome.